All right. What's up, everybody? My people in Manhattan, the Bronx, Queens, or Staten Island, my home borough, Brooklyn. Back at another video. This is gonna be me. This is gonna be a video on, in my opinion, the greatest team of all time to not win the Super Bowl or not even get to the Super Bowl. That's the 1998 Minnesota Vikings. Okay, most people who are historians of the NFL know about this team. They had Randall Cunningham, who just came out of retirement, been out of the league for 2 years, 96 and 97, signed the Vikings and came in. The original start for the Vikings team was Brad Johnson, but he got hurt. Randall came in and never looked back. you know, Randy Moss, rookie Randy Moss, who fell in the draft because of his drug problems, and the Cowboys had already had Michael Irvin, who had his problems. We all know about him. So Cowboys couldn't afford to take another player, so he fell in the draft to the Minnesota Vikings, 21st overall. Okay, he went on to set the rookie receiving touchdown record, 17. No, Randy Moss also, by his way, most people know, Randy Moss holds the receiving record for most touchdowns this season, 23. Most touchdowns this season as a rookie, 17. Speaks to his greatness. They also had future Hall of Fame receiver Chris Carter, who had been in the league for 11 years at that point. Got cut by the Eagles because he had drug problems, cocaine problems, because they off that yayo, man. As Tony Montana would say. Okay, and they had a Pro Bowl running back, Robert Smith, who was a very serviceable running back, been in the league. Okay, yeah, they had another serviceable receiver, Jake Reed, who ran a 4.3 40. That was a fast dude. They had an explosive offense. Of course, they had Hall of Fame guard Randall McDaniel. On defense, they had future Hall of Fame undersized defensive tackle John Randall, who's probably the greatest trash talker in the history of the NFL. Like, this team was loaded offensively and defensively. They were ranked number one in offense. They were ranked third in defense, believe it or not, which actually surprised me. Considering the only notable player they had, John Randall. But hey, guess you don't need big names to be an all-time great defense. I mean, look at the 2000 Ravens. All they really had was Ray Lewis and older Rod Woodson and Chris McAllister. I'll give him his credit. And Peter Boulware, and Ray and Woody are the only guys in the Hall of Fame. But back to the point, the 90 Vikings set the league on fire that year. They set the league record for points. It was previously held by the 1983 Redskins, another all-time great team, all-time great offense that lost the Super Bowl, got obliterated by the Raiders, 38-9. And then the next year, the record was broken by the greatest show on turf, St. Louis Rams. And then their record got broken, I believe, by the '07 Patriots, which also featured Randy Moss. And then that record was broken by the '13 Broncos. And what do all those teams have in common? Other than the GSOT Rams, Great Show on Turf Rams, neither of those teams won the Super Bowl. The Vikings were the first team in the history of the NFL to go 15-1 and win the Super Bowl, man. Poor Vikings fans, man. They've been Minnesota Vikings fans. They've just been snake. They're a snake bitten franchise. I remember NFL Network has a show called NFL Top 10. They did a top 10 list on the top 10 snake bitten franchises, and the Vikings were number 2. Of course, the Browns were number 1. But the Vikings, man, like all that bad shit that happened in their history. The Brett Favre interception, this 98 season, but all the bad shit. I feel bad for the Vikings, fan. Good thing they had the Minneapolis Miracle. But, like I said, man, this is a great team. Like I said, Randy's in the Hall of Fame. First ballot, Chris Carter in the Hall of Fame. John Randall's in the Hall of Fame. Randall Cunningham, you could argue, should be in the Hall of Fame. Like, this team was loaded. Loaded, man. They just blew through teams except for the Buccaneers, who gave them the only loss of the season. They played the Cardinals with Hall of Fame cornerback Aeneas Williams. And they just obliterated them. They got to the conference championship against the Dirty Bird Falcons, who's been the surprise team in the league. Went 14-2. They had the running back Jamal Anderson, who was second in the league in rushing behind, of course, MVP Terrell Davis. Jamal Anderson had like over 1,800 rush yards. They also had who else they have on that team? O.J. Santiago at the tight end. They had Eugene Robinson, who's a safety who should be in the Hall of Fame. They had Pro Bowl cornerback Ray Buchanan. Like the Falcons were a good team as well, but nobody thought they were going to beat the Vikings, My dad put money on the Vikings. But anyway, as you can see, these are the Pro Bowlers for the Vikings that year. Like I said, 10 Pro Bowlers, 5 All-Pros. Of course, how can I forget the kicker, Gary Anderson? Gary Anderson had missed zero. Had a perfect season. Didn't miss a field goal. Didn't miss an extra point. Didn't miss nothing all season long. I'm sorry, they were ranked 6th in defense. The Minnesota Vikings, 90 Vikings were 6th in defense. I apologize. I said they were first. They were 6th, excuse me. But this is number 1 in points, 556 points. Number 2 in passing yards. They had the third fewest turnovers. Like they were Vikings were on fire that year, man. Of course, lost. We all know Gary Anderson missed his first kick of the season. That's just, I'm not trying to make fun of the Vikings or the Vikings fans, but that's just the most Viking shit ever. Your kicker goes perfect all season, then when you need him most, he misses. He choked. Okay? And the Falcons kicker, Hall of Fame kicker Morton Anderson, made the field goal in overtime that won the game. Now, when you watch that, now this game is on YouTube, by the way, the 98 NFC Championship game. The full game is on YouTube. You can go watch it. The Vikings made a couple errors. They made a lot of mistakes in the game. One mistake that they made, okay, yeah, I understand Gary Anderson missed the field goal, but still, you were up 7. You were still up by a touchdown. The extra point would have made it 30-20 and would have been cemented. But still, your defense could have stopped the Falcons. Okay? And then when the Vikings did get the ball back, again, the game is on YouTube. Look it up. The Vikings didn't even try. They just took a knee and hoped for overtime. Okay, so the Vikings defense, allowed the Falcons to score. Now, granted, John Randall was hurt, did get hurt. I think he sat out the rest of the game in overtime. But so your defense, and there was a safety on the team who had an interception. I think his name was Robert Griffith. He had a safety in his hands. He dropped it. Or an interception in his hands. He dropped it. So the Vikings definitely blew it. They allowed the Falcons to score a touchdown, tie the game, and then they didn't even try at the end of the game. Okay, they just took a knee and went for overtime. So the Vikings definitely calls themselves this, and the Dirty Bird dance all the way to the Super Bowl, where they got their asses handed to them by the '98 Broncos, arguably one of the greatest teams of all time. That definitely would have been an interesting Super Bowl to see the Vikings against the Broncos, John Elway's last ride, Terrell Davis, who had probably one of the greatest running back seasons ever, 2,000 rush yards, had 23 rushing touchdowns with the league MVP. They had Shannon Sharp. They had Gary Zimmerman, a Hall of Fame guard. They had Mark Schlereth. They had Rod Smith. They had Ed McCaffrey on defense. They had Steve Atwater, who's finally in the Hall of Fame. They had Neil Smith, who was a pass rusher. They just, it would have been an interesting Super Bowl. Can you imagine John Randall? For all you don't know NFL history or didn't grow up that era, John Randall's, like I said, one of the biggest trash talkers in the history of the NFL. Him and Shannon. So can you imagine that shit? John Randall, Shannon Sharp going back and forth in the Super Bowl? Shit would have been funny. But then again, Shannon did get hurt in that game. And like I said, Randall got hurt. He had a type of bruise. I forget, something happened to his knee or his ankle. So I don't think he would have played that game. But if he was healthy and Shannon was healthy, that probably would have been the most hilarious Super Bowl commentary ever, man. It was crazy, but it never happened. The 98 Vikings, went down became the first 15-1 team to not win the Super Bowl. The 84 Niners went 15-1, they won the Super Bowl. The 85 Bears went 15-1, they won the Super Bowl. And then, of course, no team has gone 15-1, won the Super Bowl since then. The 2004 Pittsburgh Steelers went 15-1, lost in championship game to the Patriots. The Packers went 15-1 in 2011. They lost to my New York Giants in the divisional round. Remember that game like it was yesterday. And, of course, we all know the Carolina Panthers. They went 15-1. Were dabbing and hitting the folks on everybody all season long. When it came time to play against the Denver Broncos, they got their asses whooped. I thought the Chiefs were going to go 15-1 this season, but they ended up, I think they lost the last game of the season because, they rested all their starters. But no team's gone 15-1 since. And disregard that. But, yeah, man, do you think the 98 Vikings are the greatest team of all time to not win the Super Bowl? If not, who? You think the 88 Bengals, the 1990 Buffalo Bills, wide right, the 07 Patriots, the 2015 Panthers? Who do you think it is, man, if you don't think it's the 98 Vikings? I think it is, I think they would definitely, I personally think they would have gone down as the greatest, if not the greatest, but the second greatest offense in the history of the NFL behind the GSOT Rams. The reason I say second because the Rams had so many Hall of Famers. Kurt Warner's in the Hall of Fame, Marshall Faulk's in the Hall of Fame, left tackle Pace is in the Hall of Fame, Isaac Bruce in the Hall of Fame, and Torrey Holt will get in the Hall of Fame eventually. But 98 Vikings would have gone down as the all-time great team, man. Chris Carter would have got a ring, Randy would have got a ring, Randall would have got a ring, Randy Moss would have got a ring, head coach Dennis Green, rest in peace, he would have got a ring. He'd been the first black coach in history of the NFL to win Super Bowl up until that point. But it wasn't him. Instead of it was his student, his disciple, Tony Dungy, who, of course, accomplished that feat in 2006 when he won Super Bowl 41 with the Colts. But you like the video, click that like button, subscribe, comment down below, share this video with your friends. If you're friends or fellow NFL historians, share this with them. All right, see you all.